Mr. Goransson of
Yes,
Mindless Sinner. Welcome
yeah,
to
man.
Space of Rock. How are you doing today?
Thank you. I'm fine. And you?
I'm good too. I'm good too.
Yeah.
You had just released a brand new album, Metal Merchants. What can you tell me about writing sessions?
Writing sessions began like in November 2021, long time ago. And we had like 11 songs. And it was recorded with our former drummer, the original drummer, Tommy. And uh, we had like 11 songs. And after that, he decided to leave the band for personal reasons. And we had another drummer into the band called Linus, and then we had two more songs that we wanted to record, so he did the drums for those two tracks. So we ended up with 13 tracks
Mhm.
for the album.
The album is now out, right? How would you compare it to your previous Poltergeist or even the new Messiah album?
We think that this album is the best we've done. Many bands says that, but we feel that really.
I'm absolutely willing to agree with that. It's a great record. What are some of your favorite tracks that you plan on playing live?
Ooh. Uh, Obviously the Speed Demon track, Metal Merchants, Carry On, Mountain of Om, Believe in Me, Storm of Steel. Ah, there are many of them.
If it wasn't for your long history, you could have easily got away with playing the whole record live.
Yeah, yeah. But obviously, when we do play live, we want to hear, the old stuff as well.
I get
So
it. So the title, Metal Merchants, couldn't be more accurate. Like I said, in my opinion, it's a superb heavy metal album. What feedback are you getting so far?
pretty good actually, and so far so good, so to
Mhm.
speak.
Um, do you have any plans for touring or festival appearances to promote this album?
Yeah, we have, but as you know, we're not a big famous band. We play as much as we can, but we got something in the pipes, so to speak, for next year.
Mhm.
And now in November we're gonna play in our hometown. We have like a release party for the album, and we have a gig in Gothenburg next year. Then we have some plans for Europe, but as it's not in the pipe, it's not
Mhm.
what you say. It's in the pipes. Yeah.
It's in the workings. Um, Considering that I'm in Chicago, United States, any chances, is there America on the horizon at all?
We'd love to come to America again. We played America 3 times. We played in almost Chicago, Milwaukee, at the Blade, what the festival
Blades
plays.
of
Place
Steel.
of, yeah, 2019. Yeah, that was the last time we were in the States. So yeah, absolutely, we'd love to
That
come.
that festival is still happening, so maybe you can resume your position in there.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Um, let's talk history. Let's go back to 1981. How did you guys get started?
Well, we knew each other from school. We were pretty young at the time, and the guys had a band called Purple Haze, but no singer. And I wasn't singing either, but somehow I ended up for what you say tryout to
Mhm.
be the singer, and it worked. So we ended up changing the name from Purple Haze to Genocide after the Priest song, and after a year or so, we changed it to Mindless Sinner.
In your opinion, why is Mindless Sinner such a perfect name for this group?
I think it's a kind of, for me it's a kind of heavy metal uh, name for a band.
It is.
So yeah, yeah, yeah. So I don't know. It was an old friend of mine who came up with the name. Actually,
Mhm.
we were searching for a good name after the genocide name that we had. So he just said one day, "Why don't you call yourself Mindless Sinner?" Yeah, that's a good name. Yeah.
Rest is
So
history.
yeah,
Tell me about your first EP, Master of Evil.
yes. How it came about,
Yeah.
or what? Yeah, you know, we have friends in our hometown, a band called Axe Witch, if you heard of them.
Oh, yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
Love them.
So we played a lot with them, and they made an album. And our dream was that we wanted to make an album as well. But you know, we were young, we were poor, we didn't have any money, so we ended up in a music competition and scored the first prize. So we had the money so we could record
Mhm.
what the demo that became the Master of Evil record. So they took the tape to their label, and so they signed us.
That makes sense. In fact, I was going to ask you, you come from Lindköping, right? Lindköping?
Yeah, yeah.
What was the local scene like? You already mentioned Xwitch being in the area. So what was it like back then?
It was like, you know, we grew up with our idols, so to speak, the new wave of British heavy metal, and you know, the big bands like Priest and, you know, Deep Purple, Sabbath, you name it, Kiss, Van Halen. So we wanted to start a band because we love the music. So that's what we did. But the scene in Linköping at that time wasn't pretty big, so to speak. So we played in the area here
Yeah.
for a couple of years.
So by 1986, you really turned the power on by releasing an album coincidentally called Turn the Power On. What do you
Yeah,
remember from that time?
actually, that record was recorded in October '84,
Mhm.
and it was supposed to be released in early '85. But the record company went, you know, went busted. So it was a miracle that the record came out. But it came out in January '86. So that was a little late for, you know, the music movement. It has changed. So yeah, it was should have come should
Yeah,
have been released in '85.
back then the things were changing quickly. But once that album was out, what impact did it make?
None. You
Shame.
know, yeah, it was a shame because we stood with a record company that went busted, and we had no backup, you know, for the release. It just, you know, it wasn't pressed in many. I think it was pressed in 1,000 copies or something.
Mhm.
And then we stood without a deal. So that was in '86, and then we changed the name from Mindless Sinner to Mindless,
That's right. Again, what caused that?
the sign of the times,
Mhm.
I can say, because uh, we shouldn't have done that looking back now, but we felt that it was the right thing to do at the time, and we converted more to a more popular hard rock style,
Mhm.
if you know what I mean. So yeah, we're not ashamed of the record, but we shouldn't have done it.
Well,
We should have
everything
stuck to
is
our
kind of
gun.
a learning curve. You,
Yeah,
you live and learn, and what people don't realize that it was very much different back then. If you didn't have a label, you had no way of really existing.
no, we had nothing. You know, there was no internet. You know, we had nothing.
Yeah.
No management, no managers, or nothing like that.
Um, so by '89, as Mindless, you release Missing Pieces.
Yeah,
How different was that from your first album?
it was very different because we changed our style quite much, I must say. It was more like a, what you say, like a Europe or Bon Jovi style hard rock. instead of heavy metal. Yeah.
Which again was a trend back then. I mean, labels were pressuring bands to kind of fit into that MTV kind of format. I mean, it
Yeah.
happened to Crocus, it happened to Saxon, it happened to a lot of other bands.
Yeah. But once again, we were a little too late, because back in '89 there were bands like Guns N' Roses and those kind of bands who was coming through. So yeah, it went off to oblivion.
And speaking of oblivion, by 1990 the band was over. What happened?
Yeah. Tommy, our drummer, wanted to quit the band, so we formed a band with the former X-Witch drummer, called Skinny Horse, and recorded one album with that band. Came out in '93, I think. Yeah. No Pain, No Gain was the album title. And we played around Sweden with that band, and then we disappeared like like any other
Any other band, I know.
obscure bands.
But the idea of Mindless Sinner didn't die. It survived because you've made some reunions and you finally had a big reunion in 2014. So what sparked that reunion?
It was a festival here in Sweden called Muskelrock. They wanted us to play to celebrate 30 years of the Master of Evil release, '84 to 2014. So I said yes. But the band didn't exist, but I said to the festival guys that I can gather the boys, and we can do the gig. And for us, it was supposed to be a one-off gig, so to speak. But the reception we got was overwhelming, so we carried on from there.
Fantastic. I mean, it wasn't just a live reunion. You actually came back and you came out with the album a year later, The New Messiah. So how did you fans react to new music and the band coming back in a big way?
It was there was a great reactions, and it was fun because we started to play like in Europe, in different countries, like we never did back in the days. Like we wanted to back in the days, but we couldn't do it. So yeah, it was fantastic.
There was also a live record from a big festival called Keep It True.
Yeah,
What do you remember from that appearance?
it was very what you say in English, stressful.
Stressful, yeah.
Yeah, we flew from Sweden to Frankfurt, and we had a van and down to the festival area. I think we arrived at like 1 p.m. and we played at 3 p.m. and it was very stressful, and up to the stage, and we played. But it was fun. It was great fun, and the reception was once again overwhelming. So
I hear nothing but great things about that festival. A lot of bands kind of get their wings in there.
yeah, and they record, every band plays. So we decided that let's try to make a live album. So we did that.
Was that an official release or something you guys did on your own strictly?
First, we had a record deal with Pure Steel Records, and they didn't want to release the live album, so we did it by ourselves. But then they re-released it a couple of years later on CD as well, and vinyl.
Things didn't stop there. Poltergeist continue your big comeback in 2020. What mindset did you develop at this point?
Yeah, we thought we had a very strong record in Poltergeist, but then again, the COVID struck the world just as we released the album, so it disappeared as well. So yeah. So no shows for like 2 years, and yeah, it went just down the drain.
At this point, are all of your old records available? Do you have access to all these recordings? Do you control it?
Yeah, we do. So We have been releasing them like in different formats, like in cassette tapes and CDs and vinyl versions, and yeah.
Excellent. Once again, we're back at Metal Merchants. What hopes do you have for this album?
Well, I hope that people will like it, so we can gain some, so we can play live more
Mhm.
and sell some records maybe. So yeah, it's a fantastic record.
How would you compare Mindless Sinner in the 80s to the band that is today?
Uh, Today we are a better band, absolutely.
Definitely.
Better musicians and yeah, better songwriters, and but it's hard to compare because we we can't we cannot sound like we did now, even if we wanted to, and we
Mhm.
couldn't sound back then like we do now. So I think it goes hand in hand, so to speak.
Yeah, it looks like
But
every era had its own charm in a way.
yeah, yeah,
Um,
absolutely.
so finally, we had just examined pretty much your body of work. What are you the most proud of?
This one, the Metal Merchants.
It seems like you're really onto it. Uh, how in the world are you going to follow up that record down the line?
Yeah, we haven't thought about it, but we will try. We will try. We have some songs in the loop now, but it will we will wait.
It seems
Uh,
like you dedicated your life to heavy metal. Uh, did it pay off for you?
no,
It never
it
does,
did not. No,
huh?
unfortunately not. No, we have all. We like in music for us is like our hobby. We have jobs, daytime jobs, all of us in the band, so we can't live on the music.
Absolutely. And I also see your fan. I'm looking in the background. I see a huge Judas Priest collection looking back at me.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm a big Priest fan. They mean a lot to me. We played with Priest here in our hometown 2 years ago.
Excellent. I mean, what was it like
Yeah,
to play with your all-time idols?
it was like a fantasy. It was like a dream,
Mhm.
but it was cool. It was cool.
Uh, Now that you have all these records out and they're getting good reviews and they're being released, are you getting any more chances, let's say, for maybe some bigger support with big bands like that?
I don't know. I really don't know because, uh, of course, we want to,
Mhm.
but we can't go out there play for free. We gotta earn some cash if we gotta play. But of course, we would like to play as much as we can.
Mhm.
Absolutely.
And as far as like heavy stage of heavy metal in Sweden now, what kind of support are you getting locally?
Pretty good because I think a lot of young bands coming up, the great bands, and some of them are adapting, the style from the 80s, and I don't know what they call it now, but a second wave of old metal or something, something
Yeah,
like that.
there's something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, and they're great bands. Like there's a Swedish band called Ambush. You
Mhm.
heard them? Enforcer,
Yeah.
great band, and yeah, it's a good vibe.
It's a good company to be in.
Yes, of course.
Mhm. Well, thank you for speaking with me and good luck with the new album and everything.
Well, thank you very much.